This video is going to be a film study look at how Seattle's front line, their defensive line, and outside linebacker group played a huge role in their 34-14 win over the Falcons on the road in Week 7. First half, particularly second quarter, I thought that Atlanta, out of their 11 personnel sets, was able to get the run game going, and I'll show you a little bit of film of that. As the second half wore on, I think Seattle's defensive line got to the offensive line of Atlanta, slowed down the run game just enough such that they were able to put them into more known passing situations. Yes, Seattle did give up more yards. They got outgained 369 to 339. Like I said, Bijan Robinson had 100 yards rushing, but Seattle forced 3 turnovers. Only gave up 14 points after allowing, I think, 107 in the previous 3 games. How did they do it? Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy II, Boye Mafe, Dre'Mont Jones, inside linebacker group, all had moments where they played extremely well against the run. Overall, they had 9 quarterback hits on the day, 4 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, some timely run stops. I even thought 2 of the 2 interceptions that Cousins threw, Byron Murphy II played a role in kind of pressuring him. Strip sack by Mafe in the fourth quarter pretty much seals it at that point. Probably the best game that I've seen Dre'Mont Jones play on film. 4 quarterback hits, 2 TFLs, a sack. Boye Mafe with the forced fumble that Derek Hall picks up and takes back to the house to pretty much seal it early in the fourth quarter. Let's get to the film. Again, first half, I thought that there was some run action there for Atlanta. This is actually going to be a really nice job by both inside linebackers. And then the frontside DN just staying with the play. I think it's Robertson Harris out here on the edge. They seem to be using bigger guys on one side at times, oftentimes to the boundary. Not necessarily in this case, but watch Zero fit this on the front side. And then Baker, I think 17, sneak in the back of this run concept as the tight end returns in motion and basically tries to double expand this defensive tackle to give Algiers this downhill cutback lane. 17 closes it off. Zero is there as well. I think Dotson and Robertson Harris finish it off for a no-yard gain in the first quarter. Second quarter, look, there were certainly some opportunities for Kirk Cousins. I think 2 missed throws in this game that stick out to me. This is one of them. It's a 3rd and 7, leads to a missed field goal, a long missed field goal in the second quarter. It's a simulated pressure. No one, quote, winning on the pass rush with Hall on the right or Mafe on the left. I felt like as the game got going on, those guys, maybe they didn't get a ton of clean wins on their initial pass rush move, but the second effort, in some cases third, they were able to get there. This is a mid-second quarter run play, Bijan Robinson touchdown. Watch what happens here with Williams and Dotson on the backside. It's a 3rd and 3, by the way. Robinson outside zone concept, bringing it all the way back, and you can see the inside linebacker, Dotson, has been cut off on the backside. Additional to that, Williams has pretty much been scooped, unable to get to the play. Bijan Robinson cuts it downhill. People want to focus on Julian Love, quote, not making the tackle. The breakdown here is the backside defensive tackle and the backside inside linebacker not being able to get involved in the play. Because they're moving horizontally, this guard is able to get up and close off Dotson, who basically tries to go on the backside of the run concept for whatever reason. You can see the huge gap that's developing between Murphy and Williams at this point, second quarter. Seattle Seahawks fans probably concerned that they're going to see the similar output. And in fact, it continued with a drive late in the second quarter. But Leonard Williams and others were able to close off that drive. And of course, you get the last second touchdown to DK Metcalf. This is a huge gain by Algier off the right edge. How did they make it happen out of 11 personnel? Well, the tight end is into the boundary up here. And what happens is the tackle is stepping out to reach Hall, and London is going to briefly punch him, stab him with his inside hand, just enough to influence him and give that tackle time to reach Hall. And you can see the edge that has been sealed off by the right tackle with help from London. Too easy, if you ask me. That looks similar to what I think we've seen against the run for the better part of the last 3 or 4 weeks. And look, Atlanta did finish with 155 on the ground. I thought the run defense was better in the second half. That's reflective of more pass rush opportunities for the defensive line, and in fact, they converted a bunch of them. This is, I think, 2 plays after that run by Algier. This is a huge play. Leonard Williams ends up converting it, but watch what Derek Hall is doing to the right tackle. He is obliterating that guy, basically put him on the train tracks such that he disrupted Kirk Cousins' pocket and forced him to kind of move off his spot a little bit. We're talking about what's happening right here. Leonard Williams is going to be the guy who finishes the sack, but in this case, I think Derek Hall makes the play, collapsing the pocket, forcing Cousins into the arms of the other defensive end. I think it's Robertson Harris again. And then Leonard Williams gets the sack to force a punt. We're talking about a minute 40, minute 45 left in the second quarter. It's a huge play because, of course, Geno Smith takes the team down the field, and they get the long touchdown pass to DK Metcalf with less than 15 seconds left in the half. So we move forward to the third quarter. I felt like the run defense got better at this point. I had to basically filter what I was looking at on NFL Pro and watch only run plays in the second half, and I was kind of surprised at how few there were, number one. Number two, how ineffective they were. So this is going to be Bijan Robinson left side, an absolutely dominant win for Leonard Williams as a three-technique D-tackle. We're talking about right here. Additional to that, from the backside, Hall was going to close down and get involved as well. Baker is the front side inside linebacker into the boundary. He's going to skip through here. So Williams is winning against the guard, and Baker isn't sure whether he's going to have to try to fit on this angle. So he is reading and reacting to Bijan Robinson while he's on the run. Robinson puts his foot in the ground. Williams sheds. Baker is there. Hall, Dre'Mont Jones. You could really give the tackle to any 3 or 4 guys. Beautiful effort, if you ask me. Illustrative of, I think, the dedication that they had in this game to at least provide more resistance against the run. A really nice stunt in the third quarter. Now, look, Atlanta does get a touchdown on this drive. This is early third quarter, but check this out, what Hall does on the front side. Basically stabs, pinches to the inside B-gap, disrupts the whole thing on a run concept outside to Algiers. They're stepping the tackle to the edge defender, or actually I think it's a nickel in this case, and Hall disrupts the whole thing. Closing down from the backside is Reed. Beautiful play, if you ask me. I thought Mike McDonald got a little bit more creative with some of the pinches or stunts at certain times. Again, this is the same drive, early third quarter, where Atlanta's going to be able to go down and get a touchdown. But at this point, you still have instances of them being solid against the run. Look at the collapsing dynamic that Dre'Mont Jones brings you against a tight end like Kyle Pitts. We'll run it back again. So we're talking about the matchup over here, our left side, right-hand side of Seattle's defense. It's a 1st and 10. Bijan Robinson, for whatever reason, doesn't think that he's going to be able to get anything here, probably because of this jersey flashing in front of his face. So he bounces it outside, and Dre'Mont Jones has also collapsed the edge. Absolute destruction of Kyle Pitts there, a loss of 1. Jones and I think Joby were involved with the play. So 3rd and 2. After this is the touchdown pass to Drake London, the final touchdown, in fact, by Atlanta. It's a really cool look. I'm not a huge fan of solo inside linebacker looks, but it works out in this case. So Baker is off here on the left side. Dotson is the solo inside linebacker. Look at the leverage that these guys have created as an edge defender, defensive tackle in the B-gap, and Dotson is flowing. I've slowed it down for you. He's flowing over the top, basically trying to fit off of it. Reed also, as the backside defensive tackle, is involved. It's a 3rd and 2, forcing Atlanta into a decision. Of course, they go for it on the 4th and 1 and get a touchdown to Drake London up top of the screen right here. I think Witherspoon is down to the bottom side of the screen with Woolen not on the field. I mean, what do you do as far as coverage standpoint? You've got certain guys that are going to be a matchup problem. Drake London is one of them because of his size, his length, and the range of his ability to catch the ball. I thought Kobe Bryant played well with Rayshon Jenkins being out. Nonetheless, on this particular play, Atlanta got to within 17-14 about halfway through the third quarter. Like I said, 4th and 1 touchdown to Drake London off the right side. Cousins kind of getting rid of it quick. So we're going to move to later in the third quarter. At this point, the Seahawks are up 24-14, and I feel like the D-line starts to really feast a little bit on the offensive line for Atlanta and stop the run when it does, in fact, show up. Atlanta's still in run or pass mode. There's no reason for them to be so heavily skewed towards the pass. I just think Seattle did a better job after that first drive in the third quarter of stopping or slowing down the run. So you got Williams stunting to the inside. This is a sack by Jones eventually. Hall collapses the edge. Great effort here to try to knock the ball out of Cousins' hands. It's a 2nd and 10 after a run stop for a no-yard gain. Look at the effort that these guys are giving. We'll run the end zone angle back again. No chip by Pitts, so Hall's got to run and start to collapse here. This is Jones off on the other side. Going to fold around. At least 3 plays made like this during the game where guys folded over the top of a blocker or a teammate who was engaging with a blocker, and then were able to get to the quarterback either for a sack or to disrupt Kirk Cousins' flow. Yes, they did give up a lot of yards, 369 yards, but I thought that Mike McDonald's group came in with a much better idea of how to stop or slow down the run game. Again, they gave up 155 on the ground. To me, just watching the defense flow all the way through, it seems like they did a better job against the run in the second half. A nice job on the backside here, the backside inside linebacker Dotson. Think about that touchdown run by Bijan Robinson where basically he went underneath. He went to the backside, and there was a huge cutback lane for Bijan Robinson. It's still 11 personnel, so there's still only a 6-man box, if you will. Baker fitting it front side, trying to hold his B gap. 98 trying to hold the edge, C gap. And Dotson fitting it on the backside as the backside inside linebacker, a gain of 1 or 2 for Bijan Robinson. 3rd and 1 on the same possession. And Murphy wasn't sure where to line up at first. Watch Murphy and Williams win. They do convert this, by the way. Bijan Robinson up the middle for 1-yard gain converts the 3rd and 1. But those guys were competing. I didn't like 97's reaction here, but seeing it slow down some, it could give us a skewed opinion of what we're seeing. These guys seem to be stepping to the inside. Murphy stepping to the inside. 97 stepping here. Williams kind of swimming to this side right here. I mean, it's ridiculous that Williams is so big and powerful, and his swim move is so fast. Atlanta was fortunate to convert there with 2 guys winning, if you ask me, in Williams and Murphy at the point of attack, even though Williams was stepping away from the point of attack briefly. We've now moved to the 4th quarter here, early 4th quarter. Still that same drive, 7th drive, Seattle up 24-14. And Williams just disrupts the whole thing, allows Baker to flow over the top. Baker, unfortunately, doesn't finish it, but Mafe and Dotson do on the backside. So what we're talking about is here in a 3 technique, the gaps move, so this drawing is not necessarily accurate, but he's going to end up knifing into the A-gap inside of the guard as the guard steps to the right, swimming over the top. He's just basically a freight train at this point. Baker folds over. I mean, you can do that. There's multiple ways to get the job done. He didn't defeat the scheme necessarily by defeating the reach block. He just stepped underneath of it. He's just a huge guy who, once he gets on his tracks, is very difficult to stop, and a penetration disrupted the play. Mafe and Dotson able to finish it off. The penultimate play of the game obviously occurred shortly thereafter. This is 3rd and 9. 1 play later, Mafe's strip sack, leaping into the air to club Cousins, knock the ball loose. Derek Hall jumps on it, ends up being basically finishing the game off. Hall again, just absolutely annihilating the right tackle with a bull rush. Those guys, in the absence of Uchenna Nwosu, have played extremely well this year. I will have a standalone Boye Mafe video out this week. At this point, after putting up a sack like that, a play like that, I feel like I'm obligated to. What I think is interesting here is you've got 3 potential edge rushers on the field at the same time. In Hall and Mafe on the left, and then Dre'Mont Jones on the right, who I think is a little bit more of a hybrid guy, but they're both going for bull rushes. And I think that they went more to an aggressive play in terms of pass rush. Mafe, with his speed and athleticism, able to close it down. You can see he's got his left hand on the ball, knocking it out. Violent finish on top of Kirk Cousins. Had to have been fun to watch live. I couldn't watch it live, obviously. Detroit Lions were playing at the same time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the game, first of all, as a Seahawks fan. If you watch this long, first of all, thank you. Second of all, let me know if you feel any more confident in the defense at this point after giving up so many points in a 3-week stretch. Again, I think it was 107 in their 3-game losing streak. To go in there to Atlanta without Woolen, without Rayshon Jenkins, and hold the Falcons to 14 points, despite being outgained, I think is an accomplishment, and it's a step in the right direction, particularly with how improved I thought the run defense looked in the second half, basically creating more pass rush situations where Kirk Cousins, because of his immobility, was forced to either get rid of the ball quick or deal with the pocket collapsing in on him. And in this case, this last example I showed you, Mafe was able to force the sack, force the fumble, Hall jump on it and take it to the house. I can only imagine how it was for you watching it live. Probably extremely excited. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comment section. Liking and commenting on the video after the live stream premieres always seems to help the video get pushed out to a larger audience. If you think other Seahawks fans would enjoy this film study video, this look at how Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, Boye Mafe, Dre'Mont Jones, and others, Derek Hall, had a huge impact in Seattle kind of righting the ship defensively, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media so other Seahawks fans can enjoy it as well.